I do. And we are live. Thank you, folks, for tuning into In the Paint, the realest talk in sports. My name is Rodney Jones. And of course, I am one half of the team. The other guy that created the show, he's not even here tonight, but that's all right. We're going to move on without him. But joining me is the mad scientist, my man, Nick. How you doing tonight, Nick?
Doing very well. How are you doing, Rodney?
I'm hanging, man. Listen, it's been a while since we've been on. We've been kind of like inconsistent, and that's our fault. Schedules, life, work, that type of thing. But we're back. Even if it's just me, I don't really care. We are officially back. I'm taking the reins officially. That's it. I don't care anymore. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you 100%.
So we're gonna get started with the sports talk. We're gonna ride in the lane of baseball, MLB, for a quick second, in particular the New York Yankees and their interest in free agent first baseman Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman. It's hard to say three times that.
I was about to say that. Say that fast 3 times.
That's a tongue twister right there. But allegedly, supposedly, the Yankees are going to be in hot pursuit of Mr. Freeman. And I tell you honestly, as a Yankee fan, I like the move. I see somebody else joined in. Give me a second, man scientist. My man Reggie, how you doing tonight, Reggie?
Just great. How's everything, brother?
Everything's good. You're not killing yourself on OT, are you? You're not killing yourself, hopefully.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
All right. And of course, we got my man, the mad scientist. He's on with us tonight. No
welcome.
So I appreciate that. I was talking about Freddie Freeman and the Yankees and how the Yankees are in pursuit of this free agent first baseman. I would like to see them get this guy, to be perfectly honest. He brings a lot to the table as far as a hitter and even defensively, and his durability as far as being on the field, it's incredible. I think he's a worthy investment. Now, the only thing is the Atlanta Braves, more than likely, they're going to try to bring him back. They're just coming off a World Series win. I mean, what could be higher than that? And to come back to that and defend that championship and possibly repeat, even though some people might think that's a bit of a stretch, but you never know. You never know. They'll be contending. You know what I'm saying? And he's a vital cog of that. So to bring him here would be huge. I'm not a fan of Luke Voigt. Just no. He can't stay healthy. He's very streaky to me. He's not really consistent. I think he's consistent at being inconsistent, to be perfectly honest. And I'm just not feeling him any way whatsoever. I'd rather have a guy that's steady, proven, and just an overall good leader. And I think that guy is Freddie Freeman. So I think he needs to sign with the New York Yankees. So that's just my initial thoughts. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Mad scientist Reggie, chime in on that.
You want to go first, Reg?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not too familiar with Freddie Freeman, so okay. I'm just gonna chime in when I can. Mad scientist, take it away.
Okay.
Freddie Freeman is one of those once in a lifetime free agents that would come out. And people who don't know about Freddie Freeman, you're talking about one of the most consistent first basemen that has played in the National League for quite some time. MVP winner, by the way. And as you just said, World Series champion. The Yankees are going to have to do what the Yankees of old in the past have done, thrown gobs of cash like that to Mr. Freeman. Right. And let's be honest, they have the capital to do so. The problem I have with this move for the Yankees, though, is yes, they need a first baseman, but do you really need a Freddie Freeman? And the reason why I say that is because they have holes elsewhere. They do. Especially the pitching staff. You're talking about Jameson Talon, who can't stay healthy. You got Garrett Cole. Okay, you got your ace, no problem. Their bullpen, Chapman started to slow down a little bit this year. His fastball was down 2-3 miles per hour. And when you're a fastball slider pitcher, if that fastball starts losing some steam, you become very hittable.
Right.
The middle relief corps, they got overworked completely because starters couldn't go past 5-6 innings. What the Yankees need are what I call horses. And I'm not talking the horses of a Matt Scherzer or a Garrett Cole or someone like that. You need someone that you know can grind you 200 to 225 innings a year. That'll give you a good 3.5 to 4.0 ERA, a 1.1 to 1.2 whip. Someone that's like a battler that'll keep you in games, that has no problem with pitch counts. Now, in this day and age of Major League Baseball, you don't find many of them anymore. You really don't. I mean, gone are the days of Nolan Ryan and Frank Tanana and Tom Seaver and all those guys that used to throw 10 innings while spitting nails and chewing gum.
Right.
Every 4 days, not even 5 days anymore. Every 4 days, sometimes every 3 days. You don't find it anymore.
No.
There are a few pitchers out there that still do that are not aces. If the Yankees can go out and sign someone of that ilk, or maybe make a trade for someone of that ilk, I would feel a lot more comfortable if they would do that and then go after Freddie Freeman. The problem, though, is what is the baseline value of Freddie Freeman in this day and age? Are you talking 7-240? Are you talking a double-digit year deal? What are we talking about over here?
Yeah.
I mean, Freeman may be one of those. Freeman has already said he's not taking a hometown discount for just because he won a World Series with the Braves. He wants to get paid. And do you blame him?
No, absolutely not.
Not at all. But the problem that we have now is you're in the middle of a work stoppage. As always, owners are crying some sort of poverty when they don't. The players want the players obviously want their fair share of the pie, which seems to be like a revolving door every 5, 6, 10 years when labor talks come up.
Right.
But, the baseline to me for Freddie Freeman, I think, would be like 7 years, around $210 million.
Okay.
Maybe being on the light side, because there's going to be a team out there that is going to shell whatever they can to get a talent like Freddie Freeman to be their first baseman. Now, if George, let's be honest, if George was alive today, money would be of no option. But Hal comes from a different cloth, and George is turning over to his grave because Hal comes from this different cloth altogether.
Absolutely.
We don't know what the Yankees will offer him. We don't know what Hal's going to tell Cashman and say, here, this is the baseline, work off this. You just don't know what's going to happen here.
You got that right.
Can I chime in? I'm just going to ask a question. Now, like I said, I don't know much about Freddie Freeman. I don't know how long he's been in the league, but could he possibly be a New York guy? Because you get players that are not that can't stand the pressure of New York. You got to factor that in also. No?
That's true. No, that's true. That's true. I could agree with that. There's some players that can't adapt well in playing in New York. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking like 162 game season. 81 of those games is played in New York, your home, or your prospective home, so to speak. It's a different change from Atlanta to New York. You understand? So there is that huge factor. You're right in that, Reg. I don't know. I don't know his numbers. Unfortunately, I don't know his numbers when he played against the Mets here in New York.
Right.
Maybe I could give it like a little telltale sign, perhaps, but.
And I don't know how the stadium compares to Yankee Stadium, the new Yankee Stadium or whatever.
He would be a slugger in the Yankee Stadium. I mean, we're talking about left-handed hitter. Yay, left-handed hitter. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Most definitely.
Okay. Oh, they still got the short porch. I haven't been to the new stadium at all, so I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Here's one thing. Here's a couple of red flags, though, that you got to when it comes to Freddie Freeman, though.
Okay.
He's 32 years old now. Not spring chicken. So there's that plateau that players in their prime usually start from age like 26 to about age 32, 33. So, this becomes almost like a buyer beware, because if you sign him to a 7-year deal or something of that nature, you're going to 39, 40-year-old season.
Yeah.
Another thing is, looking at his stats, he's only played 162 games twice in his career. Only twice. There have been games he played 150 games, which is not bad, but there's also other seasons where he's only played 120, 130 games, because he is slightly prone to get a knock during this, during the season. One last thing, if you look at his average, his average in Atlanta is 28 home runs, 97 RBIs, which is good. You put him in Yankee Stadium, short porch in right field for a left-handed batter, that's great. One thing that happens to most left-handed batters, though, unless you're like a Don Mattingly or something like that, you get pull heavy.
Yeah,
once you get pull heavy, that's going to cause a major issue. Major issue. That batting average may go, your power numbers may go up, but your batting average and everything else,
drops.
Base percentage, slugging percentage, whatever it may be, all that may go down.
Right.
I usually call that the trap syndrome when it comes to Yankee Stadium, because they're like, oh, get a left-handed bat. They're gonna go crazy there. I'm like, yeah, they'll go crazy. They'll give you the long ball, because we all know chicks still do the long ball these days.
Right.
But you're going to struggle elsewhere. A complete hitter goes to all fields.
Absolutely.
You don't want to become a pull hitter in Yankee Stadium, or else everything else goes to pot.
And you know what, Nick? Let me just throw this in there in what you're saying. We've discussed this many times here on In the Paint. The fact, in regards to the Yankees, the fact that they tend to make hitters pure hitters, like Gary Sanchez. He was a pure hitter, and then he turned into a pull hitter, and it messed him up. It did mess him up.
Well, this guy, with all due respect, Gary Sanchez, I think, was an overblown prospect from the beginning when it was coming out.
I mean, okay, I'll give you that. Perhaps it was.
It just seems to me when I watch him, and I, and I watch the Yankees because I live in the New York market. But before we go any further, New York Mets all the way, baby. But But living in the New York market, you get the Yankee games. And when I watch Gary Sanchez, he's the one guy that I want to go against the wall and bang my head 100 times, because the talent is there.
It's
there. The problem is that he just seems so disinterested, or he just doesn't want to play in New York anymore, because the fans mercilessly boo him out of the stadium most times.
Right. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right for the fans to do so. But again, it's not just Sanchez. It's a lot of the hitters they get. Guys that can hit to all fields. You understand? And all of a sudden, now they want to pull the ball. The Yankees, the coaches, the hitting coaches are suggesting this, heavily for them to be pull hitters. They're tinkering with their swing. It's ridiculous. And just like you said, it hurts their average. You're not letting them be natural and comfortable within their own swing.
Look at what happened. Yeah, exactly. Look at what happened last year. The Yankees schematics in batting were in the bottom half of not only the American League but Major League. Right. During this whole season, they fired their hitting coach. They fired, their minor league hitting instructor. They pretty much cleaned house and now hired more people to get them back on track. Right. Because if you can't bat in this day and age, you can't bat 260, 270 and expect to go far in Major League Baseball across the board. You need 280 and above. You need a slugging percentage of in the fours. And again, as you stated, Rod, you got to hit to all fields. If you don't hit to all fields, you're screwed.
Let me stop you for a second. I got to bring my man and right appropriate. Got the Yankee hat on. I'm looking right at him. My man, Double D, Dwayne. What's going on, brother?
Gentlemen, Gentlemen, good
What's up,
evening.
Dwayne?
Hey,
Thanks
how
for
y'all
joining
guys
us.
doing?
All
All right, D. How's everything?
Everything's good, my man.
Yes, sir.
Well, Rodney, you know me. I'm a Yankee fan.
Oh, of course.
This is my okay. I mean, if they go after Freddie Freeman, that's perfect because he's a former MVP.
Mhm.
He just got the World Series,
Okay.
and like my man said, I mean, I wouldn't take a home field discount because they won the World Series.
Right.
The guy had over 30 something home runs last year. He had 180 hits, I think, something like that.
Okay.
He's a
Okay.
Golden Glover,
Yep.
and he will be as if he doesn't become pull heavy, he'd be a killer in Yankee Stadium
Hmm.
because he does hit to all fields.
Mm-hmm.
So he would be a great player. Although sometimes people do go to Yankee State, come from the National League and into the American League, and they have to adjust.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Freddie Freeman would be great. I mean, I love Voight. I love what he brings to a team. I love the power.
I can't.
But he's not. He's not. I don't see him as. I see him as another Giambi.
Oh.
Ooh.
I'm
Voight?
serious. I see him as another Giambi, or
I am
some
not.
other. So
Which
other
Giambi are we talking about? Oakland A's Giambi or Yankee
Yankees
Giambi?
Giambi. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yankees
Yeah.
Giambi.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the Yankees over the past year have had mediocre first baseman. The
This is true.
last great first baseman they had was Tino.
Hmm.
I mean, they brought in Olerud and they brought in other guys who just
Mhm.
didn't cut it.
Right.
But I mean, he's 30 something years old, but it seems like he's getting into his prime now.
The one thing I want to address, especially with my man, the mad scientist right here, we was talking about Freeman and his durability. I just happened to look up the last 4 years. I think his percentage of being on the field is like 92 or 93%.
That's great.
That's a high, that's a high number, high percentage. And this is for the last 4 years. So him being on the field hasn't been an issue. Maybe in the past, maybe before that 4 years, but in the last 4 years, he's played in like I think it was like 539 games total. I think he's played in about 520 something, if I'm not mistaken. Believe it or not, that's a very high.
That's probably more than Judge.
It's definitely more than Judge.
Oh,
I just
let's not
remember
even
him
start
back when he
that.
was in his younger years. He was playing. He played 162 games once during that period, but the
Right.
rest of his time was 117, 140, 130.
Mhm.
In the last 4 years, he's been durable. But then
Right.
again, you have to look. He's getting up there. He's going to be 30. He's going into his 33rd year.
Yeah. Right.
33rd year in life. This is when the body starts to slowly break down as a Major League Baseball player.
Right.
So it's always got to be in the back of the general manager or owner's mind when you have a talent like Freddie Freeman.
Mhm.
I mean, again, as I stated in the very beginning, he's like one of those guys that you don't say no to. The question is, how far do you go knowing certain things that could happen? Because we've seen teams, Yankees included, Mets included, throw these contracts at all these players, and within 2-3 years, it's buyer's remorse.
Right.
Big time buyer's remorse. So,
I mean, I hear you. You're going into this with a little trepidation. I completely understand what you're saying. I get it. Just like you said, buyer beware.
Well, that's 12 years of wear and tear on his body too, because he's been in the league since what?
What?
2010, 2011, something like that.
Yeah.
He started in 2010.
That's a lot of years. So you have to consider that. So if what the mad scientist was saying about like a 7-year, $210 million contract, if we could somehow eke out 3 to 4 of productive years, is it worth it?
if it produces a couple of championships out of it, hell yeah.
Well, you gotta remember, in baseball now, they also do voidable years. So you could do a 7-year deal and put like a 4th-year void in there for Freddie Freeman and say if he wants to get that one more big contract after having 4 really good years with the Yankees, he can go ahead and do so.
Right.
So there is that avenue that can be taken not only by the Yankees, but by Freeman himself. He can shop himself around and say, yeah, I'll do like a 7 to 10-year deal. But as long as after like a certain period of time, I can void him out, and get get one more, like, and if he puts up like amazing numbers in those 4 years, he can still go out and get that one more crazy deal before riding off into the sunset, counting his green.
Yeah, this is true. This is very true. All right, gentlemen. I thank you for your input on this particular topic. We're going to go into some real heavy stuff right now. This is it. This is probably why the mad scientist and Dwayne and also Reggie tuned in and going to give their thoughts on the following. Let's get into the NFL.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to get into this. There's a whole bunch of BS. We got the NFL, the Rooney Rule, Brian Flores lawsuit, whole bunch of stuff happening. Even this whole Lovie Smith thing is kind of tied to this deal, believe it or not. I have my own theories on this, and we'll get into that. So, wow, a whole lot here. A whole lot here, man. I got to tell you, Brian Flores, for as much as he's doing right now, he's come under some fire from some people, which I think is undeserved. I see cats calling him like, oh, well, you're not doing this for the NFL. Bro, stop all that. He doesn't deserve that type of talk. That's pure ignorance, okay? He's putting himself second and trying to push away what the NFL has been doing for years. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a shame. I'm at the point now where I don't even give a crap about the Super Bowl. I'm close to not watching again, to be perfectly honest with you guys. Because just the blatant disrespect of minority coaches, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'm especially angry at the Giants. I'm not a Giant fan. I've stopped rooting for them for years, ever since that whole Josh Brown debacle, and you guys are paying him, calling him a fine individual, a fine gentleman. I'm like, no, he's not. He's beating on his woman. But yet you're still having him on payroll, which pissed me off. So, and to see that they, again, are part of ugliness, a darkness, again, and you're supposed to be an upstanding organization. No, you're not. No, you're not. All of that was a facade. You guys are full of BS. I don't respect you. I don't like you. You'll never get any type of fandom from me whatsoever. Not one. But I digress. Let me get back to Brian Flores and the nonsense, man. It's just too much, man. It's too much. It doesn't make any sense to me. So with that being said, we're going to go back and forth on this. So this is not my final time saying something about Brian Flores, the Rooney Rule, and the NFL. So what are your guys' initial thoughts?
Save me for last.
Oh, there's some fire. There's some fire might be coming. Okay, I got you. So with that being said, Dwayne, Reg?
Go ahead, D.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Okay, first of all, that whole Lovie Smith smoke screen.
You already know.
I mean,
you already know.
Okay, he was a head coach once, but what has he done to deserve another shot at being a head coach?
Well, he was at Illinois.
No. I mean, come on. To me right now, any black head coach, any black coach that get a head coaching job right now, it's just smoke screens. Because even if they Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He could have. You wanted a winning coach, you could have easily got him.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lovie Smith is a puppet right now. He's a puppet.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I'd have to agree.
And you know, Brian. I mean, come on. Okay. Mark mentioned that in a post that Brian Flores and the upper office got into disagreements. They weren't getting along. All right, fine. Is that a reason? Is that the reason to fire him?
They felt so.
I mean, the man brought your team back from obscurity, and they almost made a season out of it.
Yeah,
they was on a 7-game winning streak, 8-game winning streak, something like that.
Something like that. I think it was 7.
I mean, come on. The man brought. It's fine. You wanted to start. The kid he don't have it yet. So for that reason, you're gonna say, hey, I'm not gonna have this coach anymore. I want to get rid of him because he's not doing what I said. Only George Steinbrenner could have gotten away with that kind of stuff. But then with George, if he would have done it, it would have been a better reason than that.
Yeah.
I mean, fist fights.
It's like I said, it's a lot. You know what I mean? Reg, you want to take a shot?
But for this reason, I haven't watched. You know, I haven't watched football in since Kaepernick.
Yeah, I feel you.
And this is where this is going to be. This is going to be the next one. And Brian Flores is going to be.
Yeah,
he's going to be gone. Nobody's going to. He's never going to get another job again. And it's sad because even if I don't think he's doing it for personal reasons. I think he's doing it because enough is enough.
He wants to be big. He wants to be big. Not he, but he wants this issue to be bigger than him.
Right. Like it is. Enough is enough. Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, all you got to do, you have to bring in 2 coaches, 2 minority coaches, interview them, and then push them aside.
Yeah.
And then you hire somebody who is a subpar coach.
Wow.
I mean, come on.
Wow. Okay, I feel you, brother. I feel you.
I mean, I'm glad he got. Do you look at it and say, "Yeah, we're glad a black man got the job"?
No.
Or do you exactly?
No, not in the least.
Right.
I mean, it's just it's ridiculous now.
It's a bunch of BS.
Yes, it is.
You got how many teams are there? There's 32 football teams.
Right.
Okay, 32. Okay. And I want to add something else to this when I'm done. There's 32 football teams. I mean, you got black players. You know, you have black coordinators.
What's the common denominator? We all know what it is. Nobody wants to say it. What's the common denominator?
Well, they said it's 70% of the.
What's 70%?
Yeah, it's got to be more than 70%.
No, it's 100%.
Well, I mean, there's a few scattered in there.
I'm just saying.
Okay. I'm going somewhere totally different. I'm going somewhere totally different.
Go ahead, Reggie. I want you to go ahead.
Okay. The 100% is who? 32 teams?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we talking about owners. I'm sorry.
Okay, yes.
I thought we was talking about players. I'm sorry. No. I was distracted.
Okay, we going with the owners.
Uh-huh.
None of them are what?
Black. They're not African American. Okay, I get that. None of them. Not a one.
So wait. Jacksonville, Tony Khan, his family.
Okay. All right, he's a minority. He's a minority.
Right. Okay. Are they having that? Are they having issues in Jacksonville?
For sure.
Okay, but it's everywhere. Until that changes, all of this, the Rooney Rule, all of this is going to be exactly what it is.
Right.
It starts at the head. If you cut it off at the head, which you can't do because they have the money, the power, all of that, that's not going to change. Only way that's going to stop, only way that can stop is if a whole lot of Dwayne Delts do what they doing and not watching football, not going to the games, not spending money. Once you hurt their pockets, guarantee all of this to stop. You know, Lovie Smith. Who was thinking about Lovie Smith?
Nobody.
I know I wasn't. I know anybody on this panel wasn't thinking about Lovie Smith for this job.
And he's a defensive coordinator for the team.
Still wasn't thinking about him.
Again, he was the defensive coordinator for this Houston Texan organization. And honestly, here's the thing. The last two, and this is what I saw as being told in the report, the last two finalists was Brian Flores and a guy with no coaching experience whatsoever, a newly retired quarterback, Josh McCown. And that's it. That's it. You understand? And they were gonna go with McCown. I guarantee you, they were gonna go with McCown.
Well, he did carry the clipboard kind of good.
But they were going with McCown. I'm telling you that right now. And what happened was they started getting the blowback. They started folding under the pressure. And they said, oh, well, since we have Lovie already under contract as a defensive coordinator, let's bring him in. Oh, he fits the whole quota. He's black. He's our black guy. We got to bring him in. Yeah.
And if that's the only reason they hired him, man, listen here. They're crazy. Everybody's crazy. If that's the reason why they hired him. Crazy.
Dude, it is. It is. It is. You don't stand a chance of getting Flores. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that. You don't want that either. Because if you hire him, I can see the owners right now getting on the Texans owner about that.
Well, I'm sure if y'all were in the room, you saw my post on that. So,
yes, I did.
Yeah. It's not bad.
Mad scientist, before I let you have your say in this matter, let me bring in another person. Our brother, the Bishop, is here. Good evening, Bishop. Thank you for joining us.
There he is.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What's up, man?
What's up?
How you doing?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me clearly?
Loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear.
Glad to be heard. Glad to be heard. Hope everybody's doing well.
All right. What I want to do, I want to give my man, the mad scientist, a chance to input some of his wisdom on this right now.
Here we go. This is gonna be good. Must see TV.
Exactly. It's on you, scientist.
Ladies and gentlemen, lend me your ears because I'm about to spit fire like you've never heard it before.
All right.
When Brian Flores was fired by the Miami Dolphins, the first reaction that I had was one of stunned silence. I literally was looking at my phone going, you're firing a guy that has a winning record for your organization and took them to the playoffs once? I mean, okay. At first I was like, okay. Then it started coming out, oh, he's a hardhead. He was someone that, didn't get along with the front office and everything like that. Oh, he never liked Tua. Well, guess what? There was some truth in that because Flores wanted to draft Justin Herbert.
Wow.
He did not want Tua. The brain trust of the front office decided, no, we're going to go with Tua. Okay. How'd that move turn out for you? So Flores gets fired. Now I'm thinking, oh my God, Flores got fired. He would be interviewed in a heartbeat by everybody that had a head coaching, opening and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden I started seeing who was being considered for the Giants and the Vikings and, the Texans, the Dolphins, the Jaguars and everything like that. And all this is going on. And I'm saying to myself, am I missing something here? Now, I started thinking, Bieniemy, but he can't interview until after they got knocked out of the playoffs. D'Amico Ryan, same thing. You got Todd Bowles, Anthony Lynn, Aaron Glenn. The list goes on and on and on.
Right.
And then the hirings start coming in. And I'm saying to myself, what's going on here? What am I missing here? The Colts hiring, the Bears hiring Dick Eberflus from the defensive coordinator from Indianapolis. But they hired Ryan Poles, right? He's black. Oh, it's an even Steven. You got a guy, the head of football operations, who made the hire as head coach. And I'm sitting to myself, I was like, you hired a defensive guy in an offensive league. Okay, fine, no problem. We can go with that. The Minnesota Vikings, my Minnesota Vikings, decide to go with the offensive coordinator on the Rams, Kevin O'Connor. Can't be announced, obviously, until after the Super Bowl is over. The Giants. Okay. Brian Daboll was available, okay, but Brian Flores was available. You had them both through the interviews and stuff like that, and you ended up hiring Brian Daboll. And I'm saying to myself, you know why Brian Daboll got hired? Because who they hired as their general manager?
Yep.
Former vice president of football operations, Joe Shane. Work with Brian Daboll. Okay, cross that off the board. Then you got the Jaguars. If there was a coaching search that boggled the mind 100 times over, it was the Jaguars, because I could have sworn they would have been the first one to hop, skip, and jump and hire someone like Brian Flores. But no, they didn't. But they were going to hire Byron Leftwich, but Leftwich was like, I don't want to work with Trent Baalke. Now, for all those that don't know who Trent Baalke is, he's right now the general manager in Jacksonville. He's the former general manager of San Francisco, and he was the reason Jim Harbaugh is back. It went to Michigan because he was a hard ass to deal with. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to deal with him. And what ended up happening is Leftwich was like, I want you to bring in Adrian Wilson to be Baalke's boss. Shad Khan? No, I'm not doing that. I trust Trent Baalke. Then it comes out nobody wanted to interview for the Jaguars position because they didn't want to deal with Trent Baalke. Well, what is the deal? So Brian Leftwich decides to stay, and who do they go and get? Oh, they don't want to get Brian Flores. No, let's bring in Doug Peterson. Super Bowl. Oh, he's a Super Bowl champion head coach with the Eagles. Pulled off the great upset on the New England Patriots. Yeah. Other than that, what did he do?
Nothing.
Okay, fine.
Lose. Exactly.
And then we come to the Houston Texans.
Oh, God.
Okay, let me get this out of the way now. I respect Lovie Smith. I do. I do. He had success when he was with the Chicago Bears. He did. There's no denying it. There really isn't. But there's a reason he has not been a head coach in almost 10 years? He's been very happy being the head coach at Illinois, then the defensive coordinator in a couple of other spots. Right now he's with the Texans. And I'm watching the Texans, I'm waiting for the Texans to pick up on somebody and pick up somebody for their head coaching position. You got the guy that got hired at Denver. I think Jonathan Gannon, his name is, gets hired in Denver.
Right.
Brian Flores was a finalist, by the way. Just saying. Then they're talking about Josh McCown. And I'm sitting there like, Josh McCown, what the hell? Well, it just so happens that Jack Easterby, the reason why the Texans are in the dumpster that they are right now, personally wanted to hire Josh McCown, who has no experience whatsoever, even as a coordinator. And the owner actually had to step in because of the memo that happened to come out from Roger Goodell, who, by the way, and this is where the fire is going to start now. By the way, came out, flat out said there is no merit to the Brian Flores lawsuit. No merit whatsoever. 2 days later, you put out a freaking memo saying there's no diversity in the NFL? Holy shit! What gave you that idea? 32 owners, 31 of them all white.
Right.
They have no problems hiring black general managers, assistant GMs, vice presidents, whatever they may be. They have no problem hiring hiring, black offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, position coaches, anything like that. But for some effing reason, one way or another, when it comes to the golden carrot, the head coaching position of an NFL football team, either the owners get cold feet or there's a lot more to it that I'm not going to throw out there because I don't want this getting blacklisted.
Okay.
But I will say this.
Yeah.
Brian Flores has gotten the biggest raw deal I've ever seen. Not from just the Miami Dolphins, but by the Denver Broncos, by the Minnesota Vikings, by the Houston Texans, by the Jacksonville Jaguars, by the New Orleans Saints, by every single organization that had a head coaching position. He decided to do what's right.
Yep.
He decided to stand up for himself and say enough is enough. And when the head coach of the New England Patriots, Voldemort himself, Bill Belichick, sends you a text, "Oh, congratulations on being the head coach of the New York Giants. I haven't had my interview yet. Oh, sorry, it was meant for Brian Dable." What? You mean to tell me that Bill Belichick knew in advance that someone was getting hired?
Yeah.
Now, either the Maras are really freaking dumb. Or
hold on, Bishop.
Or it gets better. There's something that's called collusion. There's something that's called, talking in circles. I'm not saying like me talking in circles or anything like that. I'm saying like the owners talk amongst themselves, or like general managers talk amongst themselves and stuff like that. Certain general managers, I should say. And how would Bill Belichick know that Brian Dable was going to be named head coach before Brian Flores even had a chance to interview?
Yeah.
And I think it was the day of his interview where he got that text.
Ridiculous.
So let me end it like this, because I've been calm. I've been calm in saying this, but the NFL has been ass backwards for years, whether it be Kaepernick, whether it be Ray Rice, whether it be other black executives or coaches or players or whatever. For Goodell to throw this memo out there now to pretty much force the Houston Texans saying, "Look, you got to do this. You got to hire Lovie. You can't hire Flores because it'll be a smack in our face, but you got to hire Lovie because we have to show that we're diverse." Oh, yay.
Please.
That's the second. That's 2 teams out of 32. That's diversity? I got a bridge in Brooklyn I want to sell you.
Yeah. Let me stop you.
The worst part about it is, Rod, and Drew, the worst part about it is, do you know what's going to end up happening?
The same shit.
Over and over again, 10 times over. And the reason why,
same shit.
If it didn't happen with Kaepernick, after what happened with him, what makes you think it's going to happen with Flores? What makes you think that this memo that Goodell sent out to the 32 owners saying that we need to be diverse in our hiring practices? Art Rooney is turning over in his freaking grave right now because Art Rooney did not intend to have the Rooney Rule to be like this.
Yep.
Because I got to be honest with you, when I hear in this day and age, when I hear a black candidate for a head coaching position, the first thing I say is, great choice. He ain't getting a job. He's just a Rooney Rule. He's just a Rooney Rule exception. Because then the owners can go out and say, I follow the rule.
That's sad. That's sad. But it's true. Listen, let me let my man, the Bishop, get on. I heard him chattering a bit earlier.
Sorry,
Bishop, go ahead.
No worries. No, when you made the comment about head coaching positions, the golden carrot, you got to also remember who owns these teams. What era are they from? These are people that have been around, who have been ingrained. That mentality is ingrained in them. I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, it's like back in slavery times when they didn't allow black men to ride horses because it was a position of authority. White people had to look up at them when they rode the horses. So it's the same thing with the NFL. It's like, yeah, there's collusion. There's been collusion. It's just now somebody has been able to nail them on it. When Kaepernick was talking about it, they were like, yeah, he's just imagining things, so forth and so on. Now somebody has been able to pretty much prove that this is the case. And I don't know like what's going to happen, because the NFL is, yes, they have been ass backwards for many, many years, and they will continue to be, because it's a league that promotes degenerates in the ownership and in players, and they decide, depending on what the social issues are of the day, on which direction that they go in, but they mean none of it. They mean absolutely none of it, and for the sake of hiring a black coach, it's like it's 32 teams. If there's only 2 guys who are head coaches, like how does that amount to diversity? If there's only 2 out of 32.
Rod, there's one more thing.
The numbers just don't add up. So
I hear you.
There's one more thing I want to say, Rod.
Sure, please.
One guy who I forgot to mention, David Culley.
Right.
You brought him in on a 2-year deal. When he got that 2-year deal, the first thing I said was like, oh boy, he's being set up to fail right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the roster that he was given at the beginning of the year, full well knowing he was never going to have his star quarterback because of the issues that he was having off the field.
Exactly.
That team had more holes than a block of Swiss cheese. And look at what do you call? Forget about the record.
Right.
Look at what he did. That team played harder than some teams that finished with 500 records. They beat the Tennessee Titans, in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
A game they had no business winning, and they went out and did it.
Right.
They took Kansas City to the freaking limit for 3 quarters before they ran out of gas.
Didn't they beat Dallas?
He played hard. And as soon as the season was over, Jack Easterby was like, "You go. See ya.
Yeah.
Have a nice day."
Yep.
Because guess why? We didn't get the number 1 pick. The reason why David Culley was brought in to be the head coach was one reason and one reason only, to try and get the number 1 pick. And that's another reason. That's another reason why Brian Flores did not mesh well with the front office of the Miami Dolphins, because everybody remembers Flores' first year, Miami was expecting to go 0-16. And guess what? They finished, I believe, 6-10? And played hard and played fast and played loose, and everybody respected the head coach.
Yep.
So, and don't get me started on Hugh Jackson. Please.
Well, I don't want to even. I mean, I'll go there. I'm kind of on the fence. I get what he's saying, but at the same time, you were part of that, dude.
He was 1-31 for over.
Exactly.
He was 1-31.
Right. You were part of that.
When he said it'll all come out, I actually went on his Twitter and I said, unless you show me concrete proof that you received money from Jimmy Haslam for losing all these games, you best be living in Bel Air, California, in a gigantic mansion right now, because there ain't no way that you were told to lose all these games that you coached. No way. No way. Now, I could understand that if it was like roster decisions and he was left with nothing, he's left with nothing. But my God, I mean, you don't go 1-31 on purpose. You don't. You just don't.
Oh man, I hear you. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, Nick. The thing is, man, I kind of believe him, man. I can't I can't leave any stone unturned, man, when it comes to NFL, bro. I just can't. I can't say that he's making this up. I really can't. Would I like to? Maybe, but at the same time, come on. This is the NFL we talking about. We've seen a lot of fuckery coming out from the NFL, dude.
Remember
a lot.
Suck for Luck?
Who?
Remember Suck for Luck? The Indianapolis Colts, Suck for Luck?
Yes, I do.
But guess what? There was no blowback off that. Why?
Well, probably because nobody came out about it.
No, think about who the head coach was.
I'm trying to think. Who was the head coach back then?
Was the head coach white or black?
Was
If
it
I'm not
Tony Dungy?
No.
I think he's talking about. Are you talking about Caldwell?
No. Caldwell was in Detroit by then.
Okay. Who are we talking about?
The guy that just
Not Frank Reich.
got cancer.
The coach before Frank Reich, who just happened to be white.
The guy who had cancer, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Chuck
Pagano. Right. Okay.
Now, Chuck Pagano, did he get any blowback for sucking for luck? No. He didn't. but if you wanted to have a team that sucks so much, yet had them play hard, and you're a black head coach,
you're gone.
You get penalized for it.
You're gone. Exactly. It's amazing. You know what I find amazing? It seems like, and you had said this before, Nick, about the fact that they will hire plenty of black coordinators, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, special teams coach, any other position. You know what I'm saying? As a coach. But they won't give us the head coach thing. This is kind of reminiscent of with the quarterback position as well. You understand? Back then, you didn't see too many black quarterbacks. You know, we had the pleasure of watching Randall Cunningham. I know Giant fans don't really like him, but I'm just saying, you know, we had a few out there. You know what I'm saying?
You only got like 4 right now.
Well,
4 starting ones, right? About 4.
Yeah, roughly. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying. So we had to, and even though we have 4 now, we still had to try to overcome having none or one out there. You understand what I'm saying? And we only have 2 black head coaches now in the NFL out of 32 teams.
Well, you have to remember, I believe, if my memory serves me correct, the first black quarterback in the NFL, if I'm not mistaken, was Joe Gilliam, and that was like in the 1970s, and he was the backup to Terry Bradshaw for a couple of those Super Bowl seasons.
Yes.
And then came Williams in the late 70s, early 80s, before he became a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and it was really Doug Williams who opened the door to having a successful black quarterback, but you still had the stigma because you look at guys like Randall Cunningham and Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson in this day and age. They don't see them as like pure quarterbacks. They just see them as athletes that play quarterback. RG3 before he shredded up his knee in that playoff game. You know, Jesus, trying to think who else. Byron Leftwich was the prototypical quarterback. I mean, the guy was like 6'7", 260 pounds before, let's be honest, he ate himself out of the NFL. You know, but what I'm going to say now is another reason why I think we still only have 4 black quarterbacks in the NFL. And if there's one guy that you can point to where everybody has trepidation is, you remember the tale of Jamarcus Russell?
Of course.
The greatest bust in history.
Now, for those that don't remember, Jamarcus Russell, when he played at LSU, was really a can't miss prospect. I mean, the guy had the body, had the body of a quarterback, the arm of a quarterback. Problem was he had the brain of a 2-year-old. And it came out that they gave him a blank playbook and a blank videotape. And they asked him point blank, so did you study the plays and everything?
Right.
And he came out and he said, yeah, I know everything. And they looked at him and they were like, oh my God, you really are the dumbest POS I've ever seen walking on the planet. And obviously he fizzled out of the NFL. But the stigma, think about this now, guys. The stigma that this left on the black quarterback, the mistrust that it left on the black quarterback, it took some time to get rid of that stigma again. You can do 99%
that wasn't
good.
I don't think that one thing was the issue. It's the top spot. It's the top spot on the team, and the NFL did not want black dudes in that top spot. The quarterback is the one who gets all the credit, the one who gets all the accolade. They don't want the black quarterbacks getting that prestige. It has nothing to do with intelligence. If you think about it, it's like there's been plenty of white quarterbacks who've been not so bright either and been shitty too. What's the dude from there's been plenty of them. So they're still employing white quarterbacks. There's about 10 of them now that are shitty that are employed. And they're not the brightest and not the most talented.
What do you
call it? Nothing to do with intelligence.
Bishop, I 100% agree with you. But what I'm saying is the stigma that is always felt is because of, what happened back then, and people lump that in with others that don't deserve it. I mean, for example, Tyrod Taylor, I think, could be a starting quarterback in the NFL. The guy unfortunately, the guy gets hurt at the worst possible moment every single time. And, and then he gets, he pretty much becomes like a placekeeper. He doesn't get his fair shot. It's just that to me, the stigma on the black quarterback, the black head coach, whatever it may be, it's got to stop sooner or later. I don't even want to say sooner or later anymore. It's just got to stop, because there are so many intelligent coaches out there. I mean, DeMeco Ryans was going to be a finalist for the Minnesota Vikings head coaching position. I really, really thought that DeMeco Ryans was actually going to get it, and he pulled himself out. And I think the reason why he pulled himself out was, to be honest with you, after what happened with Flores, I don't think he wanted to. He wanted to be like what's a good word for it?
Kind of like
token,
huh? Yes.
Token?
Yes. I don't think he wanted to be like, oh, see, the Minnesota Vikings did this to placate what happened to Flores or anything like that. Leftwich really wanted to go to Jacksonville. He didn't want to deal with Trent Baalke. He wanted to bring in Adrian Wilson, who was the vice president of player operations in Arizona, former safety for Arizona as well. And Khan told him flat out, no, you can deal with Baalke. And Leftwich was like, well, guess what? No, I'm going back to Tampa Bay. I have a better chance of possibly succeeding Bruce Arians. It's just, what do you call it? And there were others that I mentioned that didn't even get a sniff or anything like that. No. I'm talking about Aaron Glenn, Antoine Randall L., Todd Bowles, who used to be the head coach of the New York Jets, is now a very successful defensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What do you call it? Bieniemy for
he was a hot name a couple years ago. What happened?
He's been the hot name for 4 years, and 4 years later, he's still in the same spot that he's been. Now, granted, he just came out of an interview with the New Orleans Saints that went for 9 hours. If after 9 hours you don't get an offer, there's something seriously wrong here.
Well, you know what that's about. which I think is total bullshit. You know what that's about, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I
I'm
know
just
what it's about.
yeah.
I mean, everyone knows what it's about. It's just that after 9 hours, if you don't know after the first hour that this is the guy that you want, and you sit him there and pepper him with question after question after question after question, and you're still not convinced, come on now.
It's ridiculous. I'm at the point with thinking where Bieniemy won't get he won't get a job in the NFL as a head coach. He won't. I'm sorry. And maybe that sounds a little ridiculous and crazy, but after what you just said, 9 hours and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? But you want to hold his past against him. But meanwhile, in Miami, you had a coach, okay, an assistant coach, okay, on video sniffing cocaine, and he's still employed. What's wrong with this picture? Something doesn't add up.
Speaking of Miami, here's one for you. They're going to be hiring the offensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers as their head coach. Not once did his name ever come up in any coaching search, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, this guy?
Yeah. Well, Stephen Ross is an ass. Well, the owner, Stephen Ross, he's an asshole. Period.
Oh, we know that.
He's been an asshole. You understand? So this is a move that goes right in conjunction with who he is as a man. You understand? So it makes perfect sense to me. I'm like, yeah, I get it. You're an asshole. You make an asshole move. You know what I'm saying? That's just what that shit is.
Look, my closing argument is going to be this. The memo that was sent out by the NFL is just a piece of paper. That's all it is. It's a piece of paper.
Right.
I can tell you what the owners are going to do. Okay? I'm going to show you what the owners are going to do.
Pretty much.
I'm sorry. I mean, I apologize to those that are watching this, and I apologize for those that are listening to this. But it's the ungodly, sad truth of it all in the NFL.
That's it.
And what do you call? I'm pretty much at the point where until something happens at the very, very top, and I'm not talking about the 32 owners. I'm talking at the very, very top. Until he grows some sort of set down there that does something to offset this. This is the worst word I can think of right now, but this pandemic of what's going on in the NFL. It's the only word that can come to mind right now. Pandemic. Of what's going on in the NFL right now. Until Roger Goodell, his successor, or what have you, decide to fundamentally make some sort of change that actually is a change, and not just this, and not just a piece of paper. This is going to continue until someone is really going to get hurt. And if this Brian Flores saga is not the stone that breaks the camel's back in the NFL for hiring practices, then I am firmly convinced that unless there's new leadership, the page is going to get turned and nothing is going to happen. You're going to be reading chapter 1 of your book all over again. And it's stuck.
Well, they technically they have a rule that's supposed to stop all that. It's called the Rooney Rule. That's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to stop all of that.
The problem was they looked at Dwayne, the problem with the Rooney Rule is this. The Rooney Rule specifically says you have to interview a minority candidate, not hire a minority candidate for a head coaching position. Now, the NFL will come out and say, well, the Rooney Rule has been somewhat successful. Look at front office staffs. Look at coordinator positions. Look at other positions, positions of power around the NFL. I mean, they'll trumpet out Ozzie Newsome 100 times over about being, the head of the head guy for 20 years before he retired and something like that. That there was like stability there. Okay, great, fine, that's dandy. The problem is the word hire is not in front of head coach of an NFL football team. They can bring in 15 black guys for one position and they'll interview one white guy, and 99.999% of the time, Dwayne, who are they going to hire?
Oh, yeah, I know that. I know that.
I mean, it's unless they change unless they completely amend the Rooney Rule saying you have to hire a black guy, it's not going to happen. And it sucks because, I mean, if I had a guy of Brian Flores' pedigree sitting in front of me right now wanting to be a head coach of my NFL football team, and I'm not saying this just for lip service, I would hire the guy because I saw what he did in Miami. That team wanted to play for him. He was a player's coach. Players would run through walls for him. It's just that he did not get along with the guys in the front office. Never did. In the 4 years that he was the head coach there, he never got along with the guys in the front office. And they decided to terminate him because he couldn't get along with. He wasn't a company guy.
Right. Exactly. He wasn't a company guy.
And here's another thing, Dwayne and Bish and Reg and all that stuff. Here's one more thing about that. If you can't be a company guy in the eyes of the 32 owners of the NFL, they're going to look at you and they're going to be like, yeah, he can't get along with the guys that we have in the front office. Why would I want to hire him?
And thus begins the assassination of the character, which is what they've slandered this guy. You understand what I'm saying? I've seen reports where they slandered him on stuff that's not even true. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, he's difficult to get along with. And one of the coaches was like, what are you talking about? That's not even true. I've seen reports of this shit. You know what I mean? So it's all a bunch of BS. And nothing is going to change. Like you said, Nick, unless they put in that Rooney Rule an amendment that says you have to not just interview, because you could have a freaking revolving door of black candidates going round and round, but that don't lead to them getting a job. Unless they include the word interview and hire, ain't shit getting done. That's just what it is. And it sucks. It's not right, especially we in 2022. We're not in 1822. You understand what I'm saying? The shit don't make no sense whatsoever. If the man is qualified, I don't give a crap if you're black, you're white, you're Spanish, you're Asian. If you are qualified to do the job, be it head coach, GM, whatever, you should get the freaking job. It shouldn't matter based on your race or the color of your skin. It's ridiculous. These owners are part of the, I like to say, like from the Dukes of Hazzard, the theme song, just the good old boys. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. And it's not right. You know what I'm saying? I know I have to stop watching this sport because I just, it's to the point now when I'm viewing it and I'm watching these games, I feel like I'm being insulted. I feel like I'm being freaking insulted because I'm watching this nonsense. I'm supporting this nonsense by watching this. And it just bothers me. So I have to get back on that shit and say, oh, really? A game is coming on? Well, let me turn to a few reruns of Two and a Half Men. And that's it. Because I refuse to watch this shit. At least I got some freaking laughs instead of me feeling insulted, you know? So it's crazy, man. It's crazy. You know?
Who knows?
That's going to be one hell of a halftime show.
You know what I was thinking?
Get me started on
that. I'm glad you said that. You know what I was thinking? It's not going to happen, but day of the Super Bowl, halftime show's about to begin. They cue up the music, getting ready to see Mary J. Blige, Snoop Dogg, and Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar, and all of them come out, and nobody comes out. And everybody's sitting there like, where's the halftime show? They decide not to.
I would love it.
I would love it too. Is it going to happen? No, because when it comes to this, it always talks.
Yep.
But I would love.
I would love to see
that happen for the halftime show when nobody comes out. And on that note, I gotta head out.
All right, brother. Thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll be back on in the not too distant future.
Yes, we will. I'm gonna make sure of that shit. Okay, trust me. Thanks a lot, guy.
Good.
All right, that was the mad scientist, guys. Thank you for putting up with our stuff, of course. You know what I'm saying? You want to continue this talk, or you want to move on to some NBA talk? Because we got that in the house as well. All right.
Talk about the Knicks.
Oh, we're going there. We're going there at some point. This is a New York-based show. We're going in. And I'm even going in on my not you'll see. I'll leave that alone for a quick second. Some trade. We got some trade activity going on. The LA Clippers acquired Norman Powell and Robert Covington from the Portland Trailblazers. Wow. Okay. Now, Norman Powell, if I'm not mistaken, just joined this organization this year, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Hello? Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Now I'm just asking a question. Yeah, he just came on to Portland, and now you're shipping him out to LA.
This past season.
Now you're shipping him to the Clippers, and also along with Covington. And the scuttlebutt is that this kind of instantly transformed them into an elite, dare I say elite, or a better team than they are. Are they better? I think so. Definitely better. But as far as going on being the Clippers. The Clippers
are better than what?
Better than what they are. They'll be
better than what?
They will be. Hold on. They will be better. I'm trying to say they will be better than they were
until they get to the playoffs.
Well, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, when you add two players of these, what?
Dude.
What?
Dude, it's the Clippers. What are you talking about? It's the Clippers.
Listen.
I
know
it doesn't matter.
Listen, we don't have Kevin Williams on with us tonight. That's the Clipper fan. Okay, calm down. All I'm saying is, if you add two,
sorry for him.
For sure. If you add two players such as Covington and Powell, it has to improve their team as it currently stands. I'm not saying they're going anywhere. I'm just saying they're going to be better than they are now. Okay? Doesn't mean they're going to be world beaters. Doesn't mean they're going to be a championship caliber team. They're not going to win a championship, but they're going to be better than they are right now.
Well, this season is a wash because the two superstars are not playing. And the only thing that means is Reggie Jackson will lose some of the shots that he's been able to take, just like, because he's their only real legitimate scorer. So, okay, fine. You give Reggie Jackson, instead of him taking 25 shots, sometimes 30, he only gets 15 to 20, and then Norman Powell gets some shots. And then you got some of the young dudes who, are promising, look like they might be able to do something, but they're in the Western Conference. They ain't going nowhere. They'll stay around the 500 ball.
Listen, I get it. I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying that they are going to be. If you add two players of their caliber to this team as it presently stands, so they don't improve whatsoever. They're not a better team. You don't understand.
Robert Covington is a liability on offense. He plays great defense. he plays great defense, but he's a liability on offense. Like last season that they had that Portland was supposed to move past in the second round, and he blew like 3 dunks and missed like layups, cuts to the basket. It's like, yo, like he's a liability on offense.
Okay, I hear
He's great
you,
on
but-
defense, but
Well, that's a helpful thing, don't you think?
he's
Hello,
Not
don't
when
you
you're
think
going
that's?
up
good on
against-
defense.
I'm just
If you
saying.
can't score, if you can't score and you're going up against teams like Golden State,
All I'm
you
saying
guys,
is,
it's a wrap.
all I'm saying is, see, you guys are getting lost in transition here.
Mhm.
I'm saying they are not world beaters. I agree with you. I hear you. All I'm saying is they have a little bit better squad with these two guys on their team. That's all. It doesn't mean they're gonna be going on 20-game winning streaks or whatnot. No, absolutely not.
So okay, so what you're trying to say is instead of them having to come back from 30 points down and win games, they'll be
Yes.
in the games.
Yes.
Be in games,
Yes.
and maybe they only have to come back by like 15
Yeah. That's
from
an
like
improvement.
down 15
Yeah,
or something
that's-
like that.
That's an improvement, believe it or
Alright.
not. That's an improvement.
Okay, all right,
That's all I'm saying.
okay.
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 So that's
So-
all I'm saying.
That's throwing them a bone.
So all these moves they make is so they can make it to the playoffs, right?
If they're lucky enough.
So they could go deep into the playoffs and maybe win a championship.
I'm not going that far.
But then how much better did they get?
Not
then?
this season. Not this season.
Not this season, exactly. I'm not going there. I'm saying, do I have to go back to this, Dwayne? Really? Must I explain this again?
That's that team. They have so many. They have players on that team that disappear when they're not supposed to.
This is true. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not a fan of this. I know the whole flame out. I get it. I understand. It's the Clippers. You understand? We know their storied or not so storied history. Okay. All I'm saying is they go, put it like this.
They're gonna play better this year.
Put it like this. For the rest of the year, let's say like this. They play 500 ball right now. Let's say they're playing 500 ball. They get these two guys. They may get to 525 ball. You understand? A few more wins. Whereas it would matter about a guaranteed loss. Only a few more. That's it. Nobody's saying they're going to go to the playoffs and be dominant. And I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is they're going to be a little bit better. Where it relates to wins and losses, I can't predict that.
So instead of being in the eighth or ninth seed, they're going to be the 7th or 6th.
Yeah, okay, the 7th, exactly.
All right. That's a win, I guess.
I'm just saying. That's all it is. Good
Okay.
God, this is a tough crowd, man. Jesus Christ.
So instead of being instead of being the last team to make the playoff tournament, they're going to be the next to last team to make the playoff tournament.
Exactly. If that makes any sense.
They're going to be the home team in the play-in.
In the play-in, right? Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
They'll be the home team instead of the visiting team.
That's it. And that's where the journey ends. That's it. Okay. That's where the journey ends. All right. So in other trade news, I like this deal. This deal I like. Cleveland Cavaliers doing their thing. They got Caris Levert from the Indiana Pacers. I like Caris Levert when he was at Brooklyn. I didn't want to see him go, to be perfectly honest. I really like this young guy. Definitely helps out the offense, with what's that dude's name again? Colin Sexton down. They got a good young squad. You know what I'm saying?
And he's reunited with Allen.
Jared Allen.
So
exactly.
maybe that might be something.
Now this could be the polar opposite of the previous topic on LA Clippers that we just talking about. You know what I'm saying? This could kind of catapult them in the East a little bit, and they could make some noise. A lot of things have to fall correctly, but they can make some noise. What are you groaning about
Cavalier.
now?
The Cavaliers
Cleveland.
What's that? Hold on.
No. I thought you was talking about. I'm sorry. I thought you was talking about the Pacers. I'm sorry. Never mind.
No. Now, Bishop, go ahead. What you said?
No. The Cavaliers. The good thing about the Cavaliers this season is that they've been playing with great chemistry.
Right.
They've been playing with great chemistry, meaning like they've won games that they weren't really supposed or expected to win because they have such good chemistry. They have such great chemistry. So even though he adds to their team, I don't know, because he has the ability to take somebody's starting job.
For sure.
On the Cavaliers, he could take somebody's starting spot. So that might mess up the chemistry in the sense that these guys, they like playing with each other. They know where each other is going to be. They know how to force guys into the teeth of the big men, until Mobley and Allen. So it's kind of like they got their niche, and then you bring in somebody else in who is, unless he's going to accept the role of being off the bench. And how long are you going to keep him off the bench if he's coming into games and giving you like 25, 30 points? Because he's capable of doing that.
For sure, there's no doubt.
And against a second unit, it's going to be undeniable that this dude is like head and shoulders above. So it's like, how long are you going to be able to keep that 20, 25, 30 points potential in that second unit? That's the only thing I'm saying.
Well, you know what? You bring up an excellent point, Bishop. I'm not going to lie to you. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. He does have that potential to replace, to be in the starting unit. That's true. You understand? I would hope
with the way they play in the half court set, he's great. Yeah.
I would hope that he can accept that role, put that ego to the side. I'm again hoping. You understand? Not to mess up, as you explain, mess up that chemistry, because that's a key factor in this. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to keep it rolling, keep it going, and keep winning these games that you're not supposed to really win, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he should accept the role. You understand? I would totally agree with that. So we'll see how it goes out. I'm hoping he buys in and just knows his role, so to speak.
I bet you Brooklyn wish he was back in Brooklyn.
Yeah, listen, who's he going to be competing with? He's going to be competing with Jet. There's not enough room for him in Brooklyn. Enough shots for him in Brooklyn.
I'm sure they wish he was still there, though.
I wish he was still there.
He wish Dimwitty was still there, too.
I could do without him. I could do without him. I mean, yeah, I'm on the fence with him. I guess that's my personal shit that's seeping out right now in regards to Spencer Dinwiddie. That's my personal shit. So that's why I'm kind of on the fence. But I guess deep down inside, if I search my soul, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I missed the guy too. But that's a story for another day. Let's get into our New York teams. Bishop, I'm glad that you are on with me tonight. I really am. Don't take this anyway, Dwayne, because I love when you're on with us as well. But there's a reason I love when Bishop is on tonight, and this is it right here. Because the Bishop routinely calls the Brooklyn Nets the novellas. And I've taken offense to that many times, as he said. I've taken offense to it many times, and I tried to defend my team, but now I have to admit it's bad. It's bad. You were right. I was wrong. Okay, I am willing to say that on air. You were correct.
What? What?
That's right. You can go back to the archives on this one. I was wrong and you were correct. This is horrible. It's horrible, man. I can't.
Just last week you turned on them.
Yes, I did. I can't. I can't do it no more. I can't. They're becoming a laughing stock in the league. It's pathetic. Was it 8 losses in a row? They have a game tonight. Of course, I will not be watching. And it's just bad, man. Bad.
Well, the thing you got to remember is like when KD is back, everything that ails them is it's over. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So, and all of the teams in the East are so close together.
Hmm.
Only thing the Nets got to do is go on like a 5 to 10 game winning streak, which they're more than capable of doing, and then they separate themselves from the pack.
Right.
I just it's just so much drama. Like there's not like it's never just about ball. It's never just
Nah.
about ball. Like
Exactly.
with Kyrie, it's never just about ball. KD is never just about ball. And then now it's like James Harden. It's like for the life of me, I don't understand why he just didn't go to the 76ers when he had the opportunity or when he was requesting out of Houston.
Right.
Because going to Brooklyn is just like it's just like what was the point of that? Like if you want to really play for a championship, it's like you going to Brooklyn was not the place. It's not the place.
Well,
Even if we
think
didn't
at
have
the
the
time-
pandemic, there would be something else.
I think at the time Brooklyn looked like the favorite to go all the way, and that's probably why
Right.
he decided he wanted to go here.
Hmm.
But then now you got to think about it because Kyrie can only play in half of the season.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
for even when KD come back, if Harden's not playing, he's still gonna be 2 men shy. And
It's
they don't really have anybody on that team that could
Yeah.
take up the slack of those two guys, let alone three.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's bad, and from what I saw,
Well, you got to think it's like
mhm.
James Harden pretty much can do anything that he wants on the court. So he's decided that he is going to be a facilitator. If he didn't choose to be a facilitator, who would be the facilitator on that team?
Well, it
Because
worked
Kyrie
out
is
last
not it,
season.
and
And it definitely shouldn't be KD.
with James Harden. That's because he decided to be a facilitator. He made that decision to be the facilitator in that group.
Yep.
But if he's not there, what do you have? You got KD who is capable of giving you 40 a night, and that's it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
Which is
bad.
why I was telling you before. It's like none of these guys. Like if you look at their careers,
Hmm.
like KD won those titles in Golden State, but when has KD been the man? When has he been that guy? Never. Kyrie has never been that guy.
No.
James Harden has never been that guy. None of them. So you got a collection of 3 good players who've never been that guy.
You said good players. I think that, and I hate Kyrie. I hate Kyrie. I trust me, I hate him. But I would say great instead of just good. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason I say good is because great translates into wins when you're not supposed to win. Great translates into wins when you're having a bad night. When you are, and we've seen him individually when he was with Cleveland and then when he played in Boston. We've seen him individually, seen James Harden individually, and we've seen KD individually when he was in OKC,
Right.
when he was supposedly to be that guy, and he kept coming up short. So it's like you got a collection of guys who are not accustomed to being the man, and you just put those 3 guys together.
Right.
It's like, okay, so what do you expect is going to happen?
What do you think of the James Harden for Ben Simmons rumors?
Huh?
The James Harden for Ben Simmons.
I mean, if they, I mean, the Nets might be smart to try to get something for James Harden, because if he decides that he doesn't want to sign with them, they can't keep him.
No.
So it's like you might as well get something, and Ben Simmons would be a great fit because he's a facilitator. He's
Right.
the consummate facilitator, and he plays D. He can guard 1 through 5. So the defense that Kyrie doesn't want to play, or maybe you don't want KD playing, you can have him do that.
I mean, he has been capable of scoring.
If you include Tobias Harris in the mix, then that would be great as well, because now you got another legitimate scorer.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays really well when there's no pressure on him to score.
They were talking about what's his name, the other two guys. What's his name, Maxey, and also Thibault.
Oh, Matisse Thybulle?
Yeah,
he's a defender.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, he's a defender. He doesn't score that much.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with Patty Mills? Isn't Patty Mills still there or no?
Is he? He is still there. I don't know if he's hurt.
Yeah.
He's out.
What, with the Nets? He's been balling out. He's been balling out all season. He's been balling out.
Exactly.
He's been balling out. He's like, that's why they haven't needed Joe Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like what calls the question. It's like, why you pay Joe Harris all this money?
Mm-hmm.
You pay Joe Harris all this money, and Patty Mills play D.
Word.
Patty Mills can hit the open shot.
Yep. He's doing it. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm very happy with him. You know, one of the few bright spots I've had all year with this team, to be perfectly honest. You know?
Yeah. A few nights it was just him and Harden. It was like Harden had like 30-something. Patty Mills had like 27.
Right. You know? Come on now. This has not worked out the way I thought it would. But like I said, I got to give it to you. I'll give it to you.
I told you so.
Yeah, you can have that. You can have that. This is a few times you can have that. You know what I'm saying? I bow. I was wrong. You know, I'm willing to admit it on air. I am. You know, I was wrong, and the bishop was right. Okay, so you can record this part and throw it over Facebook if you want. Knock yourself out. You clown me and everything.
Dude, it's too late. It's too late. I told you that a season and a half ago. It's too late.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, this shit sucks, man. You know, and even before this show tonight, man, I said I'm gonna regret this part. I said because I know what I have to do. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. I can't be a fan of them anymore. I just can't. I can't do it. I can't. Not that I'm returning to the Knicks, because I'm not doing that either. You know, nope. I refuse. I'll never go back. Never. You know. And speaking of those guys,
that's what you say. That's what they say all the time.
Nah, I'm done, son. I'm done. Yeah, you can take that one to the bank. I'm done. All right. I'd rather root for Sacramento before I root for the Knicks.
Wow.
Wow.
I'd rather root for Sacramento, exactly.
Wow. You really jumped off the wagon now.
You already know. Matter of fact, that's my new team right now, Sacramento Kings. Go Kings.
I don't know if they give it a De'Aaron Fox. I don't know.
I'm telling you. And speaking of the Knicks, I have to ask the question: are they going to be buyers or sellers at the the NBA trade deadline? Excuse me.
Sellers.
Think they're going to be sellers? Who said
yes,
that?
Sir.
Oh, my man Reggie. Why do you think they're going to be sellers, brother?
Because they're the Knicks, and that's what they do.
I'm sure the Bishop and Dwayne might have a different answer. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know,
I mean,
man.
If it's a way to screw something up, they'll find it.
Really? This coming from you?
Yeah. Well, hey, I don't pull punches.
I'm just saying, man. I figured you would be like the true Knicks supporter that you are, man.
Nah, this season's a wash. This one's done.
I mean, you have Randall, who doesn't want to be here,
but he shouldn't have took the money anyway.
Oblige him, peace. You know why he took the money?
Yeah, because it's money.
Yeah, he ain't gonna turn that down. But I mean, what does he make the Knicks better at this point?
Well,
you know. I know in a certain Facebook land, I see a certain person complaining about the Knicks left, right, and center.
Uh-oh.
I ain't saying no names, but
is he on this line?
I don't know. Don't know.
Yo, I tell the truth on that. I tell the truth on that
Whoa,
dude.
wait a
I tell
minute,
the
hold
truth on
up.
that dude. It's like, yo, the problem to me with the Knicks,
Uh-huh.
what happened here?
They
They got
picked up
rid
the
of the
wrong.
The problem
defense.
to me with
They got rid of defense.
They picked up all
it's
the
not
wrong
even that.
people.
It's not even that.
It's not.
Nah. Nah. They didn't get
What
rid of
is it?
defense. Guys just not playing defense. That's what it is. Guys just
Yeah.
not playing defense.
Yeah.
But you had last year. You had guys that
Your coach
was playing
never
defense.
holds anybody accountable. Never holds anybody accountable from the top down. Randall plays no D, and R.J. Barrett plays no D. So
And
how do you expect everything to funnel to Robinson, and for him to erase all of the mistakes? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Nobody's held accountable. Randall's always missing defensive assignments. Always.
Mm.
R.J. Barrett, 2 left feet, always missing defensive assignments. It's like you got a simple assignment. Stay with your guy. Why is he always hitting 3-pointers? Randall, this season, guys have come into the Garden and dropped career highs on Randall.
Word.
Anunoby came and shut him down and dropped 36 on him in the Garden. The dude from the Hornets came to the Garden, dropped 38 on him.
Mm.
Ball.
They had some. It's like, huh?
I said Ball.
No, the forward, not
Oh,
Ball.
Bridges.
The forward.
Bridges.
No. Bridges dropped 38 on him. Like,
Yeah.
yo, what? Like, here, hold this.
They took
38
him.
on him. Career highs in the Garden.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anunoby took the challenge, defended him the whole game, and dropped 36 on him and shut him down.
Wow.
And it's like the problem is like, yo, like the coach never holds anybody accountable for taking bad shots too. It's like, why is Randall shooting 30 3-pointers? Why is he shooting 3-pointers when his game is mid-range, driving to the basket? Same thing with RJ. These guys are very proficient mid-range, driving to the basket.
Mhm.
Easy 20 points. Easy 20 points a night for Randall. Drive to the basket, mid-range. RJ, same deal. What they want to do, everybody want to jack up threes. Then they scapegoated Kemba Walker for Randall's poor play. Scapegoated Kemba Walker for Randall's poor play in the starting unit. And he's still playing poorly. And you bench Kemba Walker to make it seem like it's his fault. It's like it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. It's like if there's room in this league for Corey Joseph, the point guard, for Ish Smith, for Rondo, for some of these guys, if there's room in the league for them, there's certainly room in this league for Kemba. You just got to use him the right way.
Right.
He can easily give you 10 to 18 points a night, just running the team, hitting the wide open threes.
Yep.
But those opportunities are not there because Randall and RJ want to jack up the three, so there's no 3 opportunities for him.
Well, the coach has to be.
And it's like,
held accountable.
yes,
You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
See, the one thing I don't like is it's the game right now. You understand? They want everybody to shoot these freaking 3-pointers from like 35 to 40 feet out. It's ridiculous. You understand? And shame on Tibbs for falling in line with that. You know, you're going away from people's strengths and more so towards their weaknesses. Game, you know what I'm saying? The game that they don't excel in. You know what I'm saying? Which is a 3-pointer. Why aren't you speaking to these guys? Why aren't you pulling their tail and say, hey, that's not what you're supposed to do. Stick to your strengths and play that. And that's it. So you're right. And as far as the accountability is concerned with Tibbs, you know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. You know?
Plus, Randall's channeling his inner Lance Stevenson.
Right.
I mean, his brain is somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but I forgot it's in the other team's huddle.
It's ridiculous with him, man. And I saw something. Tell me how you feel about this, guys. I know how you. I think I know how you feel, Bishop, on this one. I saw some crazy ass article saying that how RJ is developing into a 1A option for the Knicks.
Yeah, somebody said that the other day too. I heard that on.
I saw that.
I heard that on sports.
Yeah, that's
What?
just
Yeah,
pure
one of the guys on
foolishness. That's
ESPN
just pure.
said that.
Really? So
That's just that's foolishness.
like I said, I already knew how Bishop felt about that one. I knew how you would feel about that, and it is foolishness because I'm looking. It's like it's more bust than boom with RJ Barrett. I'll see occasionally he'll have those type of games where it's like 36 points or 30 points or 32 points, but it's not consistent. You understand? Because you'll have a 38-point game one night, the next game you'll drop a stinker of like 9 points with like 6 or 7 turnovers. You know what I mean? It's too much inconsistency, and you were the overall number 3 pick 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. There's no type of growth in his game whatsoever. So what makes you think that he's capable after all this time of developing into a number 1 or a number 1A option scoring for the New York Knicks? It doesn't make any sense to me.
The Knicks have been
If he
have
bought
been
into
drafted poorly lately.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
If RJ bought into if he bought into like mid range, because he's good on mid range. He's like a younger version. I see like the potential to be like a DeMar DeRozan type with some of his moves in the mid range. It's like this 3-point shooting and trying to like take people off the dribble, razzle dazzle, whatever. That's not your game, dude. It's not your game.
Exactly.
Mix in some more stop and starts in the mid range. Stop always just going hard left. Because eventually what's going to happen is teams like when we played Boston, and the big man for Boston had like 7 blocks.
Right.
He just stood there, waited for RJ to come strong left, and just tossed it like 6-7 times.
Yeah, there's no progression. There's no improvement whatsoever. I haven't been convinced, to be perfectly honest, of his game. I was less than impressed during the draft. There's guys you could have took ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? That would have progressed nicely. Would have been a better fit for this team than RJ Barrett. I'm not a fan of his whatsoever. I'm just like, nah, I don't see it. If I don't see it after the second year, going into the third year, you still doing the same stupid, silly shit. It's a waste of time. You might as well cut your losses at that point. Cut your losses. Start again.
Well, he's improved his scoring, and that's it. So you would be expecting him to make better decisions. Like he gets the ball on the fast break, he's not passing the ball to anybody. He'll take the ball from coast to coast, and it's like, you don't pass. It doesn't matter if the person is ahead of him, if it's a 2-on-1. He's not passing that ball. He's not passing the ball. And then just like basic basketball, like make good decisions, like make a good pass, like stop trying to, like you're not that guy.
No.
Just stick to what it is that you're good at. He's a solid 20-point-a-night scorer just off the mid-range and free throws. Mid-range and free throws, you can score 15 to 20 points a night, not have any turnovers, get some rebounds, play decent defense, and that's it. That's it.
But you know what? But you know what? What all you just said, Bishop, it's a shame that we have to keep going over this in your third year in the league. It's a damn shame to say that.
Well, look his example. Look who the example that he has to follow. He has to follow Randall, who is like, this dude is like he's like slow. Because I'm like, dude, like you have a golden opportunity to showcase your skill set in a franchise in New York City, but you want to be the next coming of Steph Curry. You're 6'9", 260-something pounds. You want to take step back 3-pointers that you're not even good at.
Exactly. Doesn't make any sense. If he,
Maybe like, how many times I'm gonna watch this dude turn the ball over
Right.
out of double teams that you know are coming. You know they're coming. Since the playoffs last year, since the Atlanta Hawks showed everybody that you have
Right.
problems dealing with double teams, watch game film, look at what you're doing, stop jumping up in the air and throwing like 90-mile-an-hour fastballs
Mhm.
to across the court. Like, stop doing that. You see the
Right.
double team coming, get rid of the ball.
Exactly.
Every single game.
It
Every single
amazes
game.
me.
Four
It amazes
or
me.
five turnovers. 4 or 5
Yeah.
turnovers off the same thing. It's like low basketball IQ. It's
Right.
horrible.
It is, man. Nah, it's comical, and at the same time, it's sad, man. Because I'm like, yo, where at what point does the improvement come in, man? You know what I'm saying? You know your weak. If you're real with yourself, you know your weakness. Like I'm real with myself. I know my fucking weaknesses. You understand? So I'm gonna try to improve on that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to work on that. These guys, it's like they have no pride whatsoever, or they think that they know it all, and that they can't be. I can't be held to improving my game. I can't be held to no. It's embarrassing, man. You know, to see the same shit being employed time after time after time. We watch these games, you know, and we're saying the same shit day after day after day. There's no type of understanding of improving your game. You understand, by these two individuals? Maybe they should be sellers and get rid. Listen, get rid of both of them. You know.
Wow.
If you watch these games, how many times have you seen? And it's not even a quick double team; it's a slow double team.
Exactly.
They come really slow and double team Randall, and he turns the ball over. And it's
Many
like, yo,
times.
dude, like
Many
4
times.
turnovers, 5 turnovers, and sometimes at the worst moments. At the worst moments, the
Yep.
game is on the line, and you get like a turnover, then you can't hit your free throws. Then
Right.
you're frustrated. Now you want to jack up a 3. That and the coach, I got to tell you, is like, I'm really not impressed with Tibbs, because there's been times. So you got the rookie that comes off the bench, that he got a quick trigger, the one who shoots and plays D. He plays defense. You got this kid coming the game. You down by 2 points. It's like a second and some change left.
Mhm.
This is the dude that you got in the game. Why aren't you running the play for him to get a shot off, when that's what he's known for?
Exactly.
Get the ball to Randall. Now he has to go through the mechanical. He's 4 steps away from the 3-point line, and
Yep.
you get the ball to him out there for him to take a. It's like, what is that? Even if he missed the shot, even if the rookie missed the shot,
Right.
it still looked better. It still looked better as a design play
Right.
for your team. It's like it just doesn't make any sense.
Nah,
It
bro.
doesn't make any sense.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. How? Listen, I gotta tell you, and I think I had said before that he's not gonna last too much longer. You know, I think next year he'll be gone. I'm talking about Tibbs. You know what I
He's
mean?
like milk.
He's like what?
Another turnover. He's like milk. It has an expiration
Yeah.
date.
Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
definite expiration date.
Yep. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So all that coach of the year from last year, it was a nice moment, but we got to move on from him. He's got to go, because he's not doing anything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, wait a minute. Let me just back up for a second. You, a Brooklyn Novellas fan, can't be determining who goes and who stays. He's like, yeah, I'm a Knicks fan. I'm saying,
No.
I'm frustrated with some of the stuff, but you can't just be dismantling our team like
Sure,
that.
I can.
Man. It's
Yes,
like,
I can.
wait a
Yes,
minute.
I can. I am
like-
the host. I am the host of In the Paint, and therefore that allows me to do so. That alone allows me the power to do so, sir. Yes. So I'm gonna do
Okay.
it.
All right.
You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
All
So
right.
he's got to go.
All right.
I'm looking out for you. I'm looking out for you guys. I'm
yeah.
looking out for you Knicks fans. I'm trying to help you guys. You know?
Yeah, but it's crazy to me. Like when they scapegoated Kemba Walker, and they said, oh, because he doesn't play defense, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. How many players on that starting unit do play defense.
Exactly.
And if you're the defensive guru, shouldn't you be developing defensive schemes that pretty much hide the fact that
Yep.
these guys are not great
Yep.
defenders?
Indeed.
Like, even if it just means rotating guys in front of the offensive player so that
Mhm.
it makes it harder for them to drive to the basket,
For
not
sure.
stopping them, just making it, just putting obstacles there. It's
Yep.
like, you're a defensive guru. Like, why can't you figure out some sort of scheme to hide the fact that he's not a great defender or that he has a knee
Exactly.
problem? Because
That's an
he can
excellent
hit an
point.
open three-pointer.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed.
That's an excellent point. Exactly. Why haven't you done that? And just like you said, the scapegoat the guy for not playing defense, but you're the defensive guru. That's an excellent point. So again, he needs to go. He needs to go. That's it. Now, I don't think he lasts. He'll come back in the beginning next year, but I don't think he stays the whole year. He probably steps down. So we'll see what
I don't know.
happens. Yeah, we'll see. You know. All right, guys. Let me
It's
close
like,
this down for. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Bish.
no, I was just going to say, like, the success that Randall had last year was due to the fact that he was hard to guard because he had so many options, so much variety
Mm-hmm.
in his game. He would hit you in the mid, he would hit you by the free throw line, he'd
Mm-hmm.
drive to the basket. Then when you got tired of dealing with the physical abuse on the offensive end, then you just backed up and gave him the shot because it's like, yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to deal with. And now it's just like, nah, I'm just going to take the three. There's
Yeah.
no variety in the game. Guys are like, yeah, go ahead, take it. Go
There
ahead and
you go.
take it.
I dare you. Go ahead. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
And
ridiculous.
he's
It's
obliged.
Yep, exactly. Much to the chagrin of a lot of Knicks fans. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. He is definitely obliged to that bullshit. All right, gentlemen, let me shut this down for the night. I want to thank my man Bishop. Thank you, Reggie, for being on with us, even with your OT, doing your thing. Also, shout out to Dwayne and of course the mad scientist Nick. Thanks to you guys for making this a pretty damn good show tonight. And we'll be back. I don't know about tomorrow, but I'll definitely be back on Friday with no problem. All right. So thank you
All right.
guys, and have a wonderful rest of the evening. Great day tomorrow. Peace.